What is up, guys? Matthew here, and welcome to Season 2 of our FIFA 21 Career Mode on the PS5. It is our Middlesbrough Career Mode, not bringing back the Boro, because we've done that. We've brought the Boro back now. We've got promoted, and I'm going to say spoiler alert to anyone who might be jumping onto this video saying that it's a PS5, FIFA Career Mode or whatever, hasn't checked it out yet. I would check out where we are and what has happened in this career mode. There is a playlist on the channel. But of course, there's your spoiler alert. We, of course, have got promoted to the Premier League at the first time of asking, thanks to the playoffs. And we are basically picking up from where we left off. So it's not quite Season 2 yet. We are a couple of weeks following that huge 3-1 win at Wembley over Bournemouth. And we are heading into Season 2, where we, in today's episode, are going to get into the next season. We're going to see what the squad's like, pick a pre-season tournament, maybe conduct a shortlist for our transfer window, see what budget we've got, etc., etc., and just get set for our first Premier League season. So, going off the back of Season 1, a couple of things that have happened. Hayden Hackney, of course, I can't remember what episode it was. We accepted an offer for him from USL Dunkirk, whoever they are. He's gone for £330,000, which means we've made £220,000 off him. We had an update on the youth squad. Obviously, we were thinking about signing a youth player towards the end of the season to fulfil that objective, but because we're promoted, I think we'll be okay without that objective, so we'll ignore that. There is a bit of a problem, though, with Ainsley Pears. As you can see, he's very unhappy. He approached us for regarding his contract. We had more important things to worry about, basically, and we didn't really engage with him. And he picked a strange time to start asking us for contract negotiations and stuff like that. We've left it too long. He's unhappy. He's submitted in a transfer request, which is absolutely fine by me, because he's not with us in real life anyway. He moved on to Blackburn. So he's on the transfer list. Hopefully Ainsley Pears will leave the club. And as for players' contracts expiring, there's quite a few contracts that are yet to be signed that will run out at the end of this season. And to be fair, I mean, look at all the contracts that are going to run out in a season's time. That is going to be a tough period for us. Obviously Bettinelli is going back to Fulham. Tomori will be going back to Chelsea. I would, in real life, if we'd have started this career mode save after Roberts had signed for us in real life, he would be going back to City, but because I added Roberts to the squad before the career mode started, he's actually a permanent player for us. So we've got away with a little bit of fortune there, because if we'd have started the career mode after he'd been added to the squads, he would have been a loan player as opposed to not. So when you add a player to your squad manually in FIFA, start a career mode with that team, they must get given a 2-year contract by default. So Roberts is with us permanently. I'm not complaining. But the players who are leaving, or will be leaving if we don't sign them on, they're all kids. We've got Roman Burrell, 20-year-old, 56 rated, don't really see a future. Samuel Follerin, he's actually came into the squad in real life, actually. So for realistic purposes, I might actually sign him on. Tyrone O'Neill, 21, 57 rated, not good enough. Johnny Howson, he's been a legend for us, but he's 33. So we either sign him on for one more season and he can be a player that we need, or we let him be released. It's quite sad, that, isn't it, that Howson might be on his way out. He's been such a good servant to us. Pears, we're going to let go, obviously. Mejias will be coming back from his loan. We're going to let him go too. And these two, I think we are going to try and get back on loan. Bettinelli we could try and buy. I don't think we'll have the budget to buy Tomori. He's 23.5 million. So we're going to try and loan him again. So, out of all these players, Folarin, that's it, is someone we are looking to possibly keep on. I think his rating's not good. We could find better in the youth academy. I will negotiate a contract with him. And it looks like now we're on the PS5, that stupid glitch with the ball dude has been fixed and rectified. So we'll look to sign Follerin on. He is starting to play in real life a little bit more, so it makes sense. So it looks like it's just a case of wages, and hopefully he's not going to be asking for too much with him being a young prospect. So let's see if they throw an offer our way, or we are going to be given... Yeah, and there's no surprise. He's a young kid, so the ball's in our court. He's on 1.4k at the moment. I think if we up that to 2, signing on bonus, give the kid 20k to sign on. Maybe that's 10 months' wages. I won't add a bonus because I don't think he'll play that often. So a bonus doesn't really seem like that much of as much point to it, but every chance he could decline this. Oh, they're happy with it. That's cool. So there we go. We've got a young kid on the books in case we need him. Probably send him out on loan, to be honest. So there's one of the lads who would be out of contract signed on. As for the rest, they're all either going back to their parent clubs or leaving us. Johnny Howson, I'm sorry, Johnny. You've been great, but I'm going to release him. Yeah, he's a player who can come in. He's versatile. He could do a job, but I love him too much. Everyone loves Johnny Howson, don't they? Bit of experience around the place. Let's see if we can get him on for another year. If we have an injury crisis, he's going to be useful to slot in if needs be, and he's wearing a snazzy suit as well. So his role at the club. I'm going to be honest and say rotation. I think he is at the point in his career now where he's a player that will come in if needed. And they're happy with that, which is good. A player of his quality could still turn around and be like, well, actually, no, I'm still pretty good. I've still got a lot to offer. I want to be important. So they sort of see the same situation that we do, which is good. And in terms of his contract, I think it's obvious that he's at that part of his career now where we take it year by year. There's no point giving him a big contract. So 1 year, I think, is the max we're going to give him, as his overall will start to take a bit of a hit at this stage. And they're happy with that. I think this is going to go swimmingly. I think Johnny would just be happy to stick around the club, to be honest. Disregard release clause. Not that anyone would bother to trigger it now when he's 33. And wages. With players usually of his age, wages aren't too much of a problem. I don't want to, ask him to take a wage cut. I think we should be... What am I doing? Giving him a wage of 6.4 million? That would be a nice little bonus for him. Let's not insult him and knock money off. Let's just say, stick with the wage you're on. And for sticking around for another year, you can have 50k. I think that's fair. Yeah, there we go. So we've signed Johnny for another season, and there's the contract negotiations that we need to get done out of the way. The rest will be going, so we'll bid farewell to Boro, O'Neill, Pears, Mahias, and hopefully we'll be seeing these two, Bettinelli and Tomori, next season. Quick look at what we won for getting promoted. Let's have a look at this. So there we go. Oh, look at that. Promotion supplement, 91 million. Total rewards of the season, 100 million. Steve Gibson is going to be swimming in it. I hope we get a tad little bonus for that. Let's fast forward to the end of the season. So, ready to end the season. Dyke Steele's completed his development schedule. That's great. Mahias has obviously come back to us, but we'll be going straight back out the door, unfortunately. And Bettinelli has gone back to Fulham. So, performance review. There were slight worries at times that we weren't going to fulfill all the objectives given to us, but getting us promoted is always going to overrule any other failed objectives, and they've basically said that. Weren't able to achieve all of our objectives on the playing side, though. We believe the team has delivered a satisfactory... I mean, we've got promoted. Satisfactory is a bit of an understatement. We hope to do even better next year. So that's good. That would have been a horrible twist of fate, wouldn't it, that we got promoted and lost our job. So let's head into Season 2. So, we are faced with 3 pre-season tournaments. And I said at the start of the series, I would accept in Season 2 a pre-season tournament. Whether we do it on screen or I do it off screen, that could be up to you guys. I don't know. But, you know, it's an opportunity for us to test out players and make some extra money. And the difficulty is relatively the same with each of these. So I think it makes sense to just go with the one that pays out the most. So European Shield, Rangers are in there, Nottingham Forest are in there, Cardiff are in there. So quite a few teams we know. The Champions Trophy, or Bournemouth. That's awkward. They'll be in that tournament, and in the International Cup, the European International Cup, Celtic are the only real team that we, well, sort of local, I guess if you count Celtic as being local. So I think we will accept the invitation to go into the European International Cup, and that is what we'll be doing next. So we are awaiting our budget. Unless we've been offered it, so offered it already. The transfer window is now open. Please bear in mind that players, blah, 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 blah. Have we been given a budget? Oh! Have we ever? So we have been given pretty much half of what we earned in the playoff final. And I'm going to knock that back a bit because we will need a bit of wages. We've got roughly just over £40 million to spend. So that is exciting. What we are going to look at is what is expected of us in our first season back in the Premier League. So, youth development signed 4 players from our youth academy, assigned to each position basically. I'm happy to do that. Definitely this season. Brand exposure, so get 7 games without defeat in home matches. So they want the home form to be at a fortress, which is definitely going to probably play a part in hopefully keeping us up. Signed 2 players from North America. Interesting. We'll have to send a scout out there and see what he can find. Financial, sell 2 players and sign 1 crucial player to replace them. Finish the season without any unspent transfer budget. We'll try our best. And here we go then. So, domestic success, this is the big one. So, of course, as it is with any Premier League club, or any newly promoted Premier League club, is the short-term goal is to avoid relegation. Obviously, that's understandable. To reach round 32 of the Emirates FA Cup, and within 2 seasons, they want us to be in mid-table. So, this season, stay up. Next season, mid-table. No problem. That's absolutely fine. So, let's have a little look to see if the calendar has... so, we've got the actual pre-season stuff's coming quite quickly, so we might play through them in this episode, or I might, run through them really quickly. Excuse me. And sorry, show you guys some of the highlights probably. And here is the Premier League calendar. We are opening the season at home to Arsenal on Super Sunday before going to Elland Road. Wow. And then we're at home to one of the teams who come up with us, being Norwich, on Friday Night Football. So, in terms of a start, that's not too bad. Arsenal will be tough. Leeds, we beat last season. Norwich and Burnley, we could have good results against them. And we've got Watford, a team who come up with us, Leicester, Sheffield United. So that looks fine. October, that's a bit tough. Chelsea, Everton, Tyne's Derby, you what? Newcastle, Tottenham, and then in November, Palace, United, West Ham. Oh God, look at December. City, Liverpool, and City again. Jesus. Wow. Let's see what the big games are. So Boxing Day. Boxing Day, we're away to West Brom. Fair enough. And we'll finish the season at home to Aston Villa. Fair enough. There we go. So, we know who we're playing. We know our objectives. The next question is the squad, because of course there are players that we've lost and there are players that we are going to be looking to get back. So, Tomori's still in the squad. I'm assuming he's going to disappear pretty shortly. We're going to look to get Tomori back in on loan as soon as, you know, we can make that signing possible. And I think getting Bettinelli back in is going to be, you know, a sensible decision to make, a sensible option, because he did so well for us last season. So, 29, he's not too old, so I think shortlist, we can go straight in for Bettinelli. Don't have to scout him, nothing like that. That's ideal. One player that has been in the comments of a lot of these videos is a certain former Boro player who I'm going to try and get him on loan. I don't think with strict negotiations it will come off, but we're in the Premier League. Could we bring Adama Traore home? We're gonna scout him. We're gonna scout Adama Traore. Absolutely, we're gonna do that. Who else should we have a look at? Who have we got in our scouts at the minute? So Rob Holding. Obviously, we're going to try and get Tomori back. Is there maybe a centre back we can sign permanently? William Saliba, maybe. He could be a potential signing, you know. I think that's someone that I might shortlist. Oh, he's already in the transfer hub. We could go in for William Saliba. Tanganga, he's a realistic signing for us at this point. Now we've got the budget behind us. So a couple of things have happened between now and then. So Tomori has gone. Johnson has left. Farewell, Johnson. Hackney has gone. Transfer budget, as we all know, has been increased. There's a transfer offer for Marcus Tavernier, quite a hefty one as well. His value is 6 million. 7.8 million has been chucked our way. That's a big offer for Marcus Tavernier, but he come in as a good second choice cam at the end of the season, so I think he deserves a chance in the Premier League. Solomon Bryn, O'Brien, he offer comes in for him. I think he has left the club in real life. San Jose Earthquakes. We'll accept that. And what we will do, since our first pre-season game is coming up, I think there's no time like the present. We have got a number of players to look at in here. Oh, Adama Traore, could it happen? Could we do it? I'd love that so much. I'd put most of my budget on getting him back in a Boro shirt. Let's try and get Marcus Bettinelli back to the Boro. So, Bettinelli then. Had him last season. Definitely want to go in for him again this time. Value is 2.1, so we'll start with that. Oh, now this is interesting. This is really, really interesting. They have shown interest in Marcus Brown. Now, we didn't play Marcus Brown too much towards the end of the season since Balassi come in, and he is a player who potentially will not get much of a look in this season. So if they could have asked to swap any player, that's a good one. So I'm going to accept that, but I think we will say that yes, Brown is a good option. I'm happy that they've offered that, actually. That's made things a little bit easier for us. But that's only knocked 500 grand off the valuation. So we're going to say 1.3, which means they'll be paying 700 grand for Marcus Brown. Or 1.2. So we'll see if they are willing to pay 800 grand for Marcus Brown and give us Bettinelli. But that swap works. Works really well. I wonder if Fulham have been one of the teams relegated. We'll have to have a look at that. Oh, they're not. Wow, they've added 50k on. What are they doing? What are they doing? All right. Fulham's rep's been a little bit shifty. Let's see. You know, I don't want to lose this deal. Let's see if we can maybe come to a compromise on 1.5. We don't want him storming out because this is a really good offer. So if he doesn't accept this, I think we'll have to just accept the 1.6. Oh, there we go. So we've come to a happy medium. Marcus Brown will be departing to Fulham, and Bettinelli will be coming back for only 1.5 million, which is awesome. So let's have a little look because I am curious to see who got relegated. We've come up, but who's gone the other way? So let's have a look. Brighton got relegated. That's a surprise. Look at that, Fleetwood in the Championship. Fulham, so that's probably why they want Marcus Brown. So Brighton, Fulham, and Southampton. Wow, that is a shocker. Southampton relegated. Jesus, that's incredible. What I always used to do on FIFA is when I got promoted, I always used to milk the relegated teams of their players because they will not want to be in the Championship. So maybe it's worth us looking at Brighton, Southampton especially, and Fulham's squads. So I'm going to have a little look now at their squads and see if there's any players that might take my interest, and I might begin to scout them. So I've had a little look around and chose a couple of players to scout. I have ransacked Southampton and Brighton a little bit. Ben White is a centre-back who I'm looking forward to scouting to see what his rating is. He's got a release clause of 22 million, which you could trigger, maybe. But he's an option. Tyrone Mings is in there. Marcus Rojo has become a free agent from Man United. He's 31, but his overall still decent. So that could be a potential signing, you know, just to add some, added quality to the centre-back area. Obviously, we've spoke about William Saliba, but a couple of other players that I have added to the scout list. Tariq Lamptey from Brighton, a real upcoming youngster who's killing it in real life, so I'm interested to see what he's like on FIFA. Che Adams, Said Benrahma from Brentford. Of course, he's actually gone to West Ham in real life, but I'm sure he'd love to come to the Premier League. Jefferson Lerma as a solid central midfielder from the team we've just beaten in the playoff final, Bournemouth. And then Mario Lemina from Southampton. Leonardo Trossard from Brighton. Neil Maupay from Brighton, another striker who went from the Championship to the Premier League. James Ward-Prowse I thought would be a great asset to us. He's now in the Championship. He's way too good for that league. He could be massive, especially at set pieces. Nathan Redmond and this man, Danny Ings, one of the best strikers in the Premier League, is somehow in the Championship. I think if we can get him, that would be some coup for us. But all these players are going to take a while. Adama is going to take 3 weeks to scout fully, which is basically after the pre-season tournament. So we're going to go in for Tomori. We're going to see if we can get him back on loan straight away, because that is a signing we definitely do want to make. Buying him, unfortunately, will be difficult. His value is quite high. We could maybe afford him, but the problem is with Tomori is I don't want to put money on buying him without knowing how much the guys that we're scouting would be at the moment. So I'm going to play it safe, and I think I'm going to just go for another loan for Tomori, because I honestly don't know how much all them players are that we're currently scouting, and I don't want to take too much out of our transfer budget. So let's see if Chelsea... Oh no! Chelsea are not interested in loaning out Tomori. Why not? Oh no, that's a big blow. Okay. Okay. The only option if we want Tomori back is to buy him. And I think buying Tomori is a huge must for us. But it's going to be half our transfer budget if we want to buy him. That's the huge problem. Let's see if Arsenal are willing to loan out William Saliba this time. No, they're not. Damn. This is interesting now. This is really interesting because a lot of the players that we are going for, they're not interested in loaning out. So I'm going to see how much all these players are that we're scouting. Going to give it a couple of weeks, wait and see how much they are before we try and make any moves, because I don't want to spend money without knowing how much we actually will need to get a certain number of players in. So for now, I'm going to run through the pre-season tournament, hopefully get us a little bit more money, and see where we are after the pre-season. But before that, we're having dinner with Marcus Bettinelli. Look at this for a new setting. Lovely stuff. What a lovely new cutscene this is. So, he's going to be our first choice goalkeeper, no doubt. That piano in the background is really strange. So a 3-year deal is what they want for Bettinelli. That shouldn't be an issue. That'll take him well into his 30s. And keepers obviously have a little bit more of a lifespan in football than outfield players, so that shouldn't be an issue. So they're taking the initiative with wages. And they're actually wanting him to drop his wages. So he's on 29k at the moment. They want 21, which actually is quite a significant drop. I'm surprised by that. A signing on bonus of 210,000 and a bonus for 20 clean sheets. I'm going to accept this because I do not think... Actually, no, I think he'll get his bonus up front. I don't know if he'll get the clean sheet bonus. I don't think he will. Because I can't see him getting 20 clean sheets in the Premier League. So I'm going to accept that. And we're going to get this over the line. Plain and simple. The wage wasn't too bad. So we will settle with that. And Marcus Bettinelli is now permanently a Boro player. So we've got that over the line. We know what we've got left to spend. Like I said last time, I'm going to run through the pre-season and see where we're at in a couple of weeks' time. So fast forwarding a couple of weeks, I ran through pre-season and unfortunately it didn't go too well for us. I mean, it started well, but it didn't end up going as well as I'd hoped. We won our first game at home to Dusseldorf, 3-1. Good game. Brought in a couple of youngsters second half. Weren't as good as we were in the first half. I think we got all 3 goals in the first half. Then we drew against AZ Alkmaar in the second game. They scored first, we equalised. That was a sort of tight game. And then Celtic absolutely battered us 3-0. They ran us ragged. They pressed really high. We could not get near them. And they scored some great goals and we lost 3-0. And ultimately, that win-loss draw knocked us out. So if we look for the pre-season tournament, so as you can see, we lost narrowly in the group stages. 1 point behind AZ Alkmaar. Celtic went through top of the group, so we unfortunately missed out narrowly. But the big concern in pre-season was the fact that I think in the last 2 games, we only had 1 shot on target in both games. We didn't have a single shot on target against Celtic. So that's a big worry. That means, that reassures that we're going to have to invest in the forward positions. And because we've lost Johnson and Brown, we are definitely going to have to look into bringing in 1 or 2 wingers. Obviously, we've got quite a few that we are scouting. movement is being made in the transfer market. Tottenham have signed Jordan Henderson for 60 million, which is crazy. Kyle Walker's gone to PSG. Arsenal have signed somebody. Alderweireld's left Tottenham to go to Dortmund. So plenty of signings being made. We're going to fast forward now to the end of the scouting period. So we've got a clear view on who we are looking to sign. So one development that has occurred in the last couple of days is we've had plenty of transfer offers for quite a few players, actually. We've rejected an offer for Fletcher. We rejected a huge offer for Roberts and Lewis Wing. But we've got an offer for Britt Assombalonga. And out of the two strikers, or the three strikers that we have, Britt didn't feature that much in the Championship and was the third wheel, I guess, of Chuba and Ashley Fletcher. So I'm thinking to myself, if we're wanting to make the step up to the Premier League, is it worth letting a striker go and replacing him with someone that little bit better? And obviously we are looking at Danny Ings potentially. So this offer is an interesting one from Midtjylland, and I am going to see if we can negotiate with them because, to be fair, our director of football, whoever is advising us, has said that 2 million is pretty much where we should be looking. So they've actually offered us a decent valuation there, but we're going to negotiate and we're going to push for a little bit more. So they've obviously offered 1.95, which is decent, but we're going to push a little bit because we did pay £15 million for Britt Assombalonga, which is quite ridiculous. So we want to try and make it as much money back as possible. So I'm going to see if they want to pay 2.3. A little bit greedy, but the more budget we have, the better. Oh, so they're not willing to go for that, but they have increased their initial offer to 2.2, which I think is a pretty nice compromise from them. So I think, and I wasn't expecting them to budge too much at all, 2.2 is good. Yes, we've lost, what's that, 12.8 million on Britt Assombalonga, which isn't great, but he's a player that I can't see having as much of an impact, especially if we sign another striker. So Britt Assombalonga might be on his way out, and that might add even more money to our transfer budget. So it's official, guys. Britt Assombalonga's move to Midtjylland has been completed. He's been a good signing for us over the last couple of seasons. Obviously not maybe hit the heights he has at previous clubs, but we've got 2.2 million for him, and he's agreed a deal where he's earning £24,500 a week. So that's pretty decent. So thank you very much, Britt Assombalonga. Yeah, we will use that money to hopefully bolster our own squad a little bit more. Let's see what the Boro are willing to give us. So 1.6 million has been added to our transfer budget, which will definitely give us that little bit extra. So now, going into hopefully a period where we can start buying players ourselves, we've got well over 40 million to spend. So the big moment then, all of the scout reports that we began a good couple of weeks ago have started to come in. And it's time that we made some decisions with our first game in the Premier League a week and a bit away. So still plenty of time, of course, to start making moves, but we want to see if we can get some of these players in now rather than leaving it well into August when we've got obviously games coming. So a lot of players that we wanted to scout, their final scout reports have come through. So let's start with Adama Traore. So Wolves value him at 28 million, £83,000 a week. That's a huge, huge chunk of what we've got available, but we could make it work. Danny Ings, 80 rated, 19 million, but he is in the final year of his contract, so we could quite easily, I think, knock a bid off that 19 million, and I think we could get him for a little bit less. James Ward-Prowse, another player that I would love. Again, he is someone who would be a great asset to the club, but again, he's very, very expensive. Redmond, 17 million. He's a lot. Trossard, he's even a lot of money. These players that we're going for are very, very expensive, and there's no way in hell. Even look at that. Oh, well, Ben Rama's gone. We've lost out to Ben Rama. He's gone to Everton. So we can forget about that. Che Adams, he's only 7 million, so that's not too bad. And Tariq Lamptey, actually, isn't as expensive as I thought he was. So, you know, that's not too bad. Ben White, centre-back, he's not too bad either. 14 million, that's definitely affordable. But we've got just over 40 million, and we need wingers. Wingers are priority. So we need to go for it with a winger or two. And we need a winger, we need a centre-back, and we need a striker. That could be our winger. That could be our striker. And our centre-back could be one of Ben White, or we could go for the likes of William Saliba, or any of the guys who we were looking at last season, Callum Chambers, Tanganga, etc. So let's make some decisions. Let's just get in the transfer hub and clear out anyone we don't want. So Braden Manu, we don't want him. William Saliba will definitely be on there. Tanganga definitely. Callum Chambers definitely. James Chester, no. Arneson, no. Traore, yes. Tomori. I think he might be too expensive, but we'll leave him on there. Saliba's already on there. Josh Murphy is a free agent. That's huge. Josh Murphy is a free... Oh, sorry, Jacob Murphy. I'm getting mixed up with his brother. He's a free agent. And I'm guessing he's being released by Newcastle. And his rating is... He's decent. That's a huge free agent right there. Jacob Murphy. Wow. I'm assuming he's the one from Newcastle, not the one from Cardiff. So that's definitely a winger we could get to bolster that position before another club tries to pick him up. Is we are going to see if we can get... I haven't even added him to the transfer list. We are going to see if we can get Jacob Murphy in, as it will not cost us a penny. He's looking for a new club. And I think Boro, with him being 73 rated, we could definitely be the club for him. 34 to 52 grand a week, not a problem. So here we are in the lovely restaurant. Must be our favourite restaurant. Hope it's a nice Italian. So, yeah, Jacob Murphy, 73 rated. Definitely do a decent job for us. The same rating as the likes of Tavernier and Balassi. So, he wants a rotation squad role as well, which is not as much as or as high as I thought he would want. So I'm happy to accept that without a doubt. Puts less pressure on us to play him. So in terms of years, he's 26, he's still young. So I don't see why Jacob Murphy couldn't stay with us for a good couple of years. So I think 3 years is a good length. And they're absolutely happy with that. So, wages is in our court. We recommended it at about 43 grand a week. Because I think he'd be desperate for a club, you know, let's see if he'll maybe go for something a little bit less, and we'll look at a 38k a week. Drop 5 grand off the recommended. And I think 200 grand signing on bonus. Let's just hope he's so desperate to get back into football, especially a Premier League club as well. You know, he was at Newcastle, I think, so he's not exactly having to move and, you know, move away from, I'm guessing, where he lived. Newcastle's just up the road, and yep, he's absolutely happy with that. So there's our second signing of the transfer window, and it's one that's hardly cost us a penny of our budget, and it's in a position as well which we were not, well, we're very, very weak in after losing Brown and Marvin Johnson. So welcome to the Boro, to Jacob Murphy. Nice to have you. So back to the transfer hub then. Now we need to see which players we're willing to buy straight off and which ones we might want to loan. I really want James Ward-Prowse. I think set pieces, corners, free kicks, he will be a great asset to us. He's got plenty of traits. And it's a crime that he's in the Championship. So will they let us loan him? No, they won't. So it would be a buy. And they want at least 30 million for him. Jesus. That's a lot. Central midfield's not somewhere that's an actual priority. We've got McNair, Saville, Morsey, so we might have to let Ward-Prowse go on that one. Danny Ings. It's a crime. He's in the Championship. Last year of his contract. We could maybe go in and get him for something like 12 million, possibly. And that would knock us to have about 30 million left in terms of a transfer budget. And then once we've got him, it's then a case of going in for this man. Will Wolves let us loan him? No! These clubs are stubborn, so we're going to have to buy Traore as well. We need to really sort of see who we can loan and see who we have to buy at this rate, because we can only probably afford 2 big players tops, and we're going to have to loan the other. So centre-back, striker, winger. So centre-backs. Saliba, they're not wanting to loan him. Tanganga. Are Tottenham willing to loan him? No, they're not. Of course they're not. But he's not that expensive. Decent rating. So Tanganga is definitely one I am happy to go for. Are they willing to loan Callum Chambers? Of course not. Contract length is too short. What's he got left on his contract? I don't think it says. I've got to bring Adama back. I have to bring him back. Tomorrow we can't get. So maybe a centre-back is going to have to be bought outright. That could be Tanganga. So we might buy him as a centre-back. And our replacement for Tomori. As for our purchase, I might go in for Danny Ings. Are they going to let us loan him? No, they're not, of course. He's got 1 year left on his contract. So I think it's worth us looking to buy Danny Ings. But we're going to try and get him as cheap as we can with him having only a year left on his contract. So, Mr. Hasenhüttl, how kind are you willing to be? So, let's start the bidding. Let's start the bidding at 12 million. I don't want him to walk out, but come on. Ings has got 1 year left on his contract. He's 29. 12 million. Oh, okay. They've dropped to 14.9, but they want a sell-on clause. By the time we sell Danny Ings, if we ever do sell him, he's going to be well into his 30s, so they won't get much anyway. So if we say, we'll give you 20%, actually. There you go. Look at that, 20%. That's a lot of money. And come to a compromise at 13 million. So we'll give them 10% more, and we'll also offer them 1 million extra. Oh, come on, Ralph. 15 million. They've increased it. Okay. I don't know why they're not happy with an additional sell-on clause. So once again, this is why putting it on strict was always going to be a problem. 20% again. But, Ralph, come on now. 14 million, mate. Come on. You're going to make the million deficit that we've just dropped off in that 20%. Thank goodness for that. So third time lucky, we've settled on a deal for Danny Ings. And it's a pretty good deal as well. So let's negotiate. It's our lucky restaurant, you see. We've not had a failed negotiation yet. So, 80 rated, he's going to be our first choice. Akpom and Fletcher are good, but they're not that good. So, I am not afraid to say that he's going to be crucial. They were never going to decline that. So, they've come forward with a contract length, and that's 3 years, which takes him to 32. Makes sense. I'd have probably offered something similar. No release clause. That's music to my ears. That's not a problem. So, this is where the wages come in. Are they willing to drop his wages? Or are we going to have to tempt him with a little bit more? Let's see what they offer us. Or what we have to offer them. So it's in our hands. So we'll go with... We'll try and drop it down a little bit compared to what he's on now. £42,000 a week. And we will offer him a signing on bonus of 400,000. And let's soften him up actually. So what I'll do is I'll knock his wage down to 40, but I'm going to try and soften him up with a bonus of 20 goals. Because that, if you have a striker with 20, gets you 20 goals, you ain't getting relegated. If he can get us 20 goals, he can have $500,000. That's gotta tempt him to come. That's a package of around £1 million in his back pocket. Just for signing and getting us 20 goals a season. Oh. Okay then. They've shifted the goalposts quite a bit there. Okay then. So, they want his wages to be up to 50. Maybe we try to be a little bit too cheeky. 48. Signing bonus. We want to stick with 500. We were miles off in terms of his bonus. Absolutely miles off. I'm surprised he didn't walk out. What if we offer him 1.7? £1.7 million if he can get 20 goals a season. So he's still getting a pay rise. He's still getting around $500,000 signing on, and he's still getting a decent bonus for getting 20 goals a season. Oh, okay, so it's not what he was wanting, but he's keen to join. His wage will settle the deal. When I first saw that, it's not what my lad wants. I thought, oh, we've lost him. But there we go. So signing number 2. We've got our striker. We've got rid of Brett. Brought in Danny Ings, who is signing number 3. Welcome to the Boro, Danny Ings. So, the signing of Danny Ings gives us a budget of 28 million with £64,000 a week. I don't think we can afford a defender and a Adama Traore. I really don't think we can afford it. So there is a centre-back who I've found. I can't believe I didn't think of this guy. Ben Gibson. Boro through and through. Left us when we were relegated. Burnley do not play him whatsoever. If the guys at EA had any sense, they would think, you know what? He doesn't get played by Burnley in real life. They've loaned him out to Norwich in real life. They would make it so that Burnley would happily want to loan out Ben Gibson. Contract length's too short. Contract length is too short. We don't have the time to scout him, really. So in terms of his wages, I do not know what Ben Gibson is on. But I don't think it would be too much if we were to bring in Gibson. If I can just knock that back up to 100k. I don't think we're going to have enough for Adama Traore. They value him at 28 million. We might have to see if maybe a loan to buy. I don't know. I can't look at it because they won't loan him. How are we going to make this work? Would Wolves be interested in a player exchange? Who could we possibly give up who they would want in return? Who would Wolves want in return from our squad? That's the big question. Just the thoughts of having Adama Traore, Patrick Roberts, Yannick Bolasie in behind Danny Ings. That would just be insane. Absolutely insane. You know what? We're not going to know how much or where we're going to go or what we're going to get from Wolves unless we go for it. So we're going to do it. Here goes nothing. We're basically being told they want between 32 and 43 million for him. I don't think we're going to pull it off. But let's just see what happens. And look, it's even a fitting setting for a deal as big as this. Adama Traore. We only have 27 million in our entire bank. I don't know how we're going to do this. So we're going to start with giving them the biggest possible sell-on clause. I don't know who we could offer, in all honesty. Lewis Wing? Could we offer them Lewis Wing? Tav's been a decent backup for... been a decent backup for Roberts, so Tav could move in. Adama on one side and then Murphy as a backup. We'll chuck Lewis Wing in. Oh, God. So, Lewis Wing. 25% sell-on clause. And we'll offer... oh, God. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. We will offer Wolves 20... oh, God. 23 million. 23 million plus Lewis Wing plus a sell-on clause. Is he going to storm out? We're trying our absolute utmost to make this deal work. Oh, that settles that then. They don't want any players in return, and they set 39 million. It's not going to happen. Not yet. We might have to come back to this one. But Adama Traore, unfortunately, is not going to come off. Sorry, guys. It was worth the try, but unfortunately, Adama Traore will not be coming back to the Boro just yet. So, with us not being able to get Adama, that means that we can turn our attention to somebody else. We still need another winger. It's as simple as that, but we don't have to go for one as crazy as Traore. And it might allow us to actually bring in Ben Gibson, possibly, and bring him back to the Boro. Winger-wise, Trossard, he's another extremely expensive one. So, guys, what I've decided to do is I'm not going to sign players for the sake of doing it there and then and getting them through the door. So, we're going to leave that where we are for now. There are a couple of players that I've added to our list in terms of wingers. I've had to bite the bullet and admit that we're probably going to have to go down to the Championship because we just can't afford the Premier League players that we're looking at. None of them want to be let go on loan. So, Mbeumo from Brentford is a right winger we could look at. The left winger is Danjuma, who was one of the top scorers in the Championship last season and was one of the toughest players we come up against when we played Bournemouth. Hudson-Odoi, potentially, could be out in the cold with the signings Chelsea have made, so we're going to scout him as well. Maybe going for a loan for Hudson-Odoi. And with the wingers, we're going to see what their scout reports come back as before we go in for anything crazy. And it's going to be the same, I think, because once we know what we're going to do in terms of wingers, we'll then know if we have to loan or buy a centre-back, basically. We'll know what Ben Gibson's situation is in a couple of weeks' time, basically, and see where we're at in terms of defenders. We've got Ivan Cavallero as well, who we're scouting. Don't know why Grealish is on there. And yeah, we'll see where we are with wingers, then we'll see where we are with centre-backs as well, because as much as I want to bring back Ben Gibson, William Saliba seems like a very, very good player for what he's worth. So we're going to leave it there, and the 18 days will be up after our first Premier League game. So that will be next up. So in the next episode, we will kick off the Premier League season at home to Arsenal, and then we'll go on to Ellen Road, and in that episode as well, we'll hopefully get the last couple of signings through the door. But the positives are we've signed a winger in Jacob Murphy, we've got Bettinelli back as our first choice goalkeeper, and we've also made quite a big signing in the form of Danny Ings. So that is it for quite a jam-packed first episode of Season 2, I guess you could call it. And yeah, we'll be back in the next episode for the beginning of the Premier League season. But in the meantime, do let me know if there are any other players that you think I should go for or who I may have missed in the comment section below, and I will quickly get to scouting them before advancing further towards our first game, which is coming up very, very soon at home to Arsenal. But until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button, of course. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Up the Boro!